Let's begin by multiplying the following expressions. So 5 times x plus 2. So if we distribute the 5, get the pen, we got 5x plus 10. Again, distributing a negative 3, we end up with negative 3x plus 12. So if we now multiply x times the quantity x plus 2, x times x gives us x squared plus 2x. Negative 3x times x minus 4, we're going to have negative 3x squared plus 12x. So in each case, if I wanted to look for a greatest common factor, so a value that goes into each term, so in each of the 4 problems we have 2 terms. So in this case, clearly we can see they all are divisible by 5 here, which if we factor to our GCF, we end up with what we started. Here, if we divide everything by negative 3, we end up with, again, what we started. So pause the video, take a moment, and factor out the GCF for 3 and 4. So today, we're going to be focusing on the GCF and the difference of squares. So this is preliminary, so I hope it gives you a little better understanding. So factors different than multiples. Factors are the numbers or variables that you multiply to get a product. So our factors are 5, or numbers that we multiply to get 5, or 1 and 5. The factors that we multiply to get 12 are 1 times 12, 2 times 6, or 3 times 4. If we have a square or a cube, then you know that's you're multiplying that variable times itself that number of times. Alright, so if we look here, and we got negative 9 y squared plus 6y. If we look at the numbers, negative 9 and 6, what's the number that goes into both of them? So to get 9, we can multiply 1 times 9, or 3 times 3. To get 6, we can multiply 1 times 6, or 2 times 3. So the common factor that they both have is 3. Now you could factor out the negative 3, because that leading coefficient is negative. So if we factor out a negative 3, both terms have a y, so we can also take out a y. So negative 9 times negative 3, divided by negative 3 is just 3. Y squared divided by y gives us y. Now it's minus let's rewind. Hold that thought. So if we take out the negative 3y and throw a negative in front here, we're going to look at what's left, which is going to be our positive 3. We got a y left, minus 6 divided by negative 3 is the negative 2. The y's cancel out, so there we go. The beauty of factoring is you can always multiply that back out to make sure you get what you started. So if we look at our next example, 2x squared minus 10x. So our Factors of 2 are 1 and 2. Factors of 10 are 1 and 10, or 2 times 5. So our common factor is going to be 2. They both terms have an x, so we can go by 2x. That's our GCF. And let's look at what we got left over. The 2's cancel, so there's 1. You don't have to write 1. X squared divided by x just leaves us an x. Minus negative 10 divided by 2 is 5. The x's cancel. There's our answer. And again, you can multiply it out to see if you get what you started. So if we were, let's do that. Let's take a moment. We have 2x squared minus 10x, which is what we started with. Alright, one last one. Let's look at 5, since 5 is a little bit more detailed. So we got 24 and 48. Actually, let's do, so our values to get 24. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Our values to get 48 are the same, so let's include obviously 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3 and 16, 4 and 12, 6 and 8. So our greatest common factor is going to be between the two, 24, right? So let's divide both terms here by 24. Now we got x cubed and x cubed, so we'll also divide by that. And then y squared and y, so we'll just go y here. So our greatest common factor is going to be 24 x cubed y. So now let's look at what's left. 24 divided by 24 is 1. The x cubes cancel out. Y squared divided by y is just y. It's going to remain positive. So plus 48 divided by 24 is 2. X cubes again will cancel out to be 1. Y will cancel out to be 1. So there's our answer. 24 x cubed y times y plus 2. All right. So take a moment, pause the video, take a moment and answer questions 7 and 8. So you should have gotten the following answers for 7 and 8. Understanding, with 7, we like our terms in a standard form where the higher exponent is first, so I rewrote it and then found the GCF. Okay, so it helps to write the factors out of each one to determine it, or if you just know it, that'll be fine. The more we do this, the more comfortable you're going to get with knowing the factors. All right, before we get into our next plan, so what I would like for you to do as part of your practice is to do just the 2 through 20 even from this practice sheet. 2 through 20, so just that side. Okay. So the second video will cover the difference of squares. But for now, with the GCF, just do 2 through 20 even.